What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So today, the announcements just keep on coming. So this weekend over in Japan, they had the Wonder Festival 2024. The interesting thing about a lot of these like festivals and stuff, they usually don't last very long, but it looks like a lot of announcements and stuff have come out for that. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So let's start with Action Toys Jader. Now, it's interesting, right? Because this is a prototype, of course, and it's hard to gauge how big it's going to be. Now, I don't actually own anything from Action Toys. I don't really know what their quality is like or anything, but it looks like we are getting a J Deckard. It looks like it's going to come with a Deckard here. My guess, just by eyeballing it, it may be like 8 or 9 inches, I would imagine. So it looks like it's going to be relatively on the small size. It might be maybe close to the size of the Kotobukiya one that I have. But, so we've got some prototypes of that. And to my knowledge, there is no release date yet. So I imagine we may see something as far as a release date towards maybe the end of the year or the beginning of next year. So it looks like it's still quite a ways away. So, but it does look good. It looks solid. I don't know if this is going to be able to transform. My guess is if it was going to be able to transform, they would have showed it transformed. It doesn't look like it. Now, for me, that's fine. But for me, J Decker is not really one of my favorite designs or anything. If anything, I would get the Fire J Decker. I do like this little Deckard here, though. I think that is pretty cool. So if that comes with this, that should be good. Now, based on the Action Toys Voltron and stuff that I've talked about in previous videos, I imagine this is probably going to be around 2 something. That would just be my guess. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess, right? So that's the first one. Action Toys J Decker. So what's next? So we finally actually get to see some actual product shots from Good Smile Firebird. Now, this actually looks spectacular. It really does. As far as his look, his thighs are a little bit on the thick side, but I think that probably has to do with his transformation, right? But this looks amazing. And Firebird is one of my favorite designs, specifically this version of Firebird. So you've got the Phoenix in the middle there. Now, I'm interested to see what this gold is part because there actually is some shots from the festival, and we'll take a look at those in a little later. But this looks really good. The paint deco looks good, but like I've said before, my main issue with Good Smile is their articulation. Their articulation leaves a lot to be desired. And so I'm not really sure, even though I probably will be getting this one, but I'm not really sure what it's actually going to be as far as articulation, especially with the transformation and stuff. So, of course, this is what the booth was for Good Smile at Wonder Festival. So, we will be taking a look at some of those things. So, of course, here we have it. Now, this gold actually looks to be really, really good. And this is the thing about Firebird, because Firebird, most of his stuff is going to be gold as far as his chest plate here and his let's just call them V fins. It's more Gundam like, but like his V fins here, and possibly on the knees. But I want this to be extremely really good gold there. That's not really a great picture, but so we see that. Of course, we see it next to the Lagann X, and of course, I've done a review on the channel on that. And then we get to see the Mike Guine on the right. So it looks like it's going to be relatively the same size. So I imagine what that's about like 9 inches, 9 to 10 inches, 10 inches. They actually tend to be, the Good Smile ones tend to be a little bit on the big side. So that should be good. Now there is a part that I actually don't like. And it's this part right here. This is the nose cone from when he is in fire jet mode. I think that's a little long. And if there's not a way to collapse that somehow, I don't know if I like that hanging down like that. Pause. But it looks very good. So for me, this is going to be an easy pickup for me. even if the articulation isn't that good. But I passed on the Mike Gine just because I know that the Amakuni Kenzen Great Mike Gine is coming out, and that's the version that I actually want, and that's why I held off on this one, even though I probably would have gotten it if I had been able to fit it in my luggage in Japan. But, so we've got that there. And then, of course, this is the fire jet mode. So this is a prototype of that. It's got a really long nose cone, and I think that's the reason why that's hanging down the back really, really long. I'd have to compare that to like the S&P Firebird one that I have. I don't remember it being that long, though. So I'll have to check. But, flight mode looks good. So this is the prototype for that. That should be quite interesting to see. So what's next? Oh, okay. We still got more Firebird here. So, of course, this is a little bit better shot. And, of course, yeah, so that gold accent looks really good because specifically here and here and here, these need to be really bright gold compared to, like, the actual this shot here. You see how this is, like, bronze here? I don't know if I like bronze. It's got to be gold. So I don't know because this is the official like promo pick for Firebird. So we'll see about that one. So next, Pose Plus looks like they had a little booth there, and of course this is the Ripley Gal Gaigar. This is from Gal Gaigar Final. That version of Gaigar has come out recently within the last couple of days. It did get delayed. It was supposed to come out in December and it got pushed back to January. Like seems like everything else got pushed back. So I have been seeing this getting released. I actually did not order this one because this Pose Plus one cost too much. So for me, I can't double dip and get two Pose Pluses so I can get the Ripley Gal Gaigar. I'm just not going to do that. So, but we also get to see the Showa Rujin from Pose Plus. Now, it's interesting because we did get a chance to see the Solar Chigokin Showa Rujin. I've talked about that announcement in previous videos as well. But if I do get a Showa Rujin, it's probably going to be this one. Now, this one does look pretty bulky. It does look pretty bulky. And basically just because of his transformation, because it's like two sides like coming together, I don't know how you're going to be able to do that and get a lot of articulation out of this guy. But there is no release date based on this little thing here. So I imagine it's still quite a ways away. But this is, if I do get the Showa Rujin, it'll probably be this one. So we'll see about what happens with that. But nothing really new as far on the Brave front for Pose Plus. So let's see, what do we got next? Okay, so also Evolution's Toys, they didn't really have a booth either, but they did have like a display here. So of course, I'm more interested in the Grandbird. So this is the shuttle, fire shuttle for Firebird. This is his second form. And then of course, this is Great Firebird in the back. Now, I don't like these. I don't like the proportions. Now, these are all metal, and I think that's the reason why, like, it's just like his proportions look really, really boxy. I don't like that look at all. And on top of that, Evolution's Toys tends to be overpriced, especially in the current market with the yen getting destroyed by the US dollar. I imagine that it's going to be like 300 plus. And to me, this is not worth it. There are better. I would get the Good Smile Firebird or Great Firebird over this, but like this is the Grandbird here. So it looks like this is the prototype of that. This is supposed to be coming out sometime this year, if I'm not mistaken, but it looks like they're just showing the prototypes for that. So let's see, what else do we have? Okay, now this is an interesting announcement, and this comes from Amakuni Tech. I always have a hard time saying that, but Amakuni Tech. So this is the webcomic for the next series in Brave, and that is Brave Universe Sword Greater. And this is supposed to combine all the other Brave universes together. And so it looks like he actually is going to be getting a release. And that's interesting. And that'll be good for new Brave fans. So, but it's going to be Amakuni Tech and not the regular Amakuni Kenzen. So that tells me, based off of what we've seen in the past, that this is probably going to be a model first. Maybe they're going to test the waters and see how the model kit sells, and then if it does well, we may get a figure of it. So this will be interesting for that. So, and then of course, Amakuni Tech, of course, this is the first one that they're doing, and this is for the Genetic Gal Gaigar. So this looks like this is actually going to be the box art for Genetic Gal Gaigar. right? So non-scale, full action. So like this one looks smaller than the Amakuni Kenzen when they were shown side by side. So this is going to be, it's not really to any kind of scale or anything, but great box art. Now, when I was talking about in that Dagon video, and I'm talking about, I just released the Dagon video this morning. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, go ahead and check that out. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about box art. I like box art like this, especially like I said, with these series being 30 plus years old, 25 plus years old, we don't really see a lot of box art and new box art for these since the properties are so old. So this is what I expect to see, right? I thought that the Bhagawan box art was a little half-hearted, but I really do like this. So that looks great. So they were talking about that. It looks like it's going to be selling. It looks like, I don't know if this is a limited thing. I imagine it probably is, and it may be like one of those pre-order specials. I can't tell because I don't read Japanese, but it looks like you can get the decals. For me, the decals, you can take them or leave them. Like the original Amakuni Kenzen Genesis Galgaigar didn't have those, but I guess they have to, make it a little bit different. So of course these are water slides that you would put on there. I don't really think it needs it, but you do have them. It looks like it may be 1,210 yen, if I'm looking at that correctly. So if that's what that's telling me, then that's roughly about I don't know what the current exchange rate is, but let's just say it's 100 yen. Usually 100 yen to the dollar is usually pretty standard, even though I think right now it's actually way more than that. But let's just use that. So that'd be roughly about $11 to $12. So that's what we've got for that. It also looks like it will be coming with the Protecto shade. So, and this one actually comes out, if I'm not mistaken, in May. So this is only about 2 or 3 months away before you get that. So if you didn't want to get the Amakuni Kenzen Genesis Galgaigar, you can get the model version here. And maybe they're doing this to compete with the Kotobukiya model kits and the Bandai model kits. So, so that's what we've got for that one there. Looks like we've got more here. So yeah, it looks like the release date is 5, which is May of 2024. So it does look good, but I already have the figure version of this. So for me, there's really no need to get this. But if you don't want to spend the money that one cost, because that one was relatively expensive, it was like $300 to $400 if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it'll come out with the effects part that the Amakuni Kenzen one got. That should be interesting, but maybe they'll release that at a later date. So that's what we got for that. Next, with the newly released Amakuni Kenzen, as you can see in the back right there, that's what it says. The King Jader just got released probably about 2 weeks ago. I've seen them starting to get shipped out. I have seen some reviews on it. I actually did not buy this guy just because he was extremely expensive. He was over $400. But it looks like Amakuni Kenzen is going to be releasing a option set that's going to give you a lot of the effect parts for that. Based on the Genesis Galgaigar one that they had, that one was probably like $200 to $250. It might have even been $300. It's been so long since I had it, since I bought it. I mean, so like I don't remember how much they cost, but it looks like you're going to be getting all of those for King Jader. So that does look pretty solid. If I did own him, I would probably just have this one because I like King Jader. I just don't like him enough to spend $400 on him. So, but that's what you've got for the Amakuni Kenzen, right? And then let's see what we got next. Now, this is actually an old photo, but at the Wonder Festival, they actually did show the Action Toys Voltron, right? And what I've seen a lot online is that a lot of people think that this is too small. And I actually do agree with that. I do think that this is a little small, especially if you're comparing everything to the Blitzwave Voltron, then yeah, this is extremely small compared to that. And, I just did that review, like a week ago. I'll link it up there if you haven't checked that out. But yeah, like this, I think it's only supposed to be like a little over 8 inches. So it's relatively small, but it does look good. Now, I actually have been going back and forth on whether or not I'm actually going to pre-order this one. Like I said, I don't really like to double dip, and I already have the Solus Jigoken and the Blitzway, so I don't know if I really want to spend another $220 on this. And I mean, yeah, it's nice, but it's a little short. I mean, it's a little small, and it's to me it's overpriced. I think it's overpriced for probably about 50 bucks. They want to, I've seen this on Hobby Link Japan. I think I went over that in another video. They wanted this on Hobby Link Japan for like 220. And usually Link Japan is probably one of the cheapest ones to get it from. I don't know if I see 220 worth of this. I mean, it looks good, but I don't know if I want to spend that on there. So, all right. So what else do we got? So of course, for Flame Toys, for the Kurokara Curie line, they announced the Gurren Lagann, right? So this is not one of my favorite designs, but one of my friends really, really likes this, so I really put this in here for him. So, but it looks like they're going to be making the Gurren Lagann. Now, the thing about the flame toys are expensive, man. They are extremely expensive. I wanted to get that Optimus Prime that they did. They just re-released it, but that mess is so expensive. It's like $400, and that thing is only maybe like 8.5, maybe possibly 9 inches. It's not even that big, and it doesn't transform, which is fine for me. But $400, I don't know. I don't know about playing that. And as much as I like that Optimus Prime, I'm not going to. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get it. So I expect this probably to be roughly close to the same price. So expect to pay $350, $400 easy, I'd imagine. So that's what you got for the Gurren Lagann. Next, this is the CCS Toys Gunbuster. We actually talked about this in another announcement video, I think in December. I have seen some reviews on this, as it looks like some of the people in China and in Japan have already gotten their hands on this. And to me, this looks really, really good. I do actually have this one pre-ordered. This one's supposed to come out in March, so that's next month. So I'll get a chance to review that on the channel. But yeah, this one looks really, really solid. So they still have a display for that. So looks great. So let's see, what else do we have here? So we got some more shots here. All right, and then we have the Ultimate Dan Couga. Now, this is actually from a Super Robot Wars, because people are like, where did Dan Couga come from? Like, it came from Super Robot Wars. To me, this almost doesn't even look like Dan Couga, to be honest. It's a little big. I don't know if I really like this design all that much. It does look relatively big. I would say just by eyeing it, I expect this to be maybe about 10 to 11 inches, maybe. Now, I'm just going from foot to head. I'm not talking about the wingspan. The wingspan and stuff that may put it over 12. But I don't know. I don't know if I really want this. So of course, this is clearly in prototype mode, so it doesn't look like it's anywhere close to being ready to go. But it almost doesn't even look like Dan Couga anymore. But it's interesting. So for those that actually want that, there is no price point or release date on most of this stuff in here. So that's what you've got there. So yeah, I mean, if you like the Ultimate Dan Couga, I don't know. I'm satisfied with my final Dan Couga that I have. That's the only version that I have of Dan Couga, and that's the one I like. So because it had the backpack from the movie that I liked. So that's the only one. So I really won't double dip on Dan Couga. But if you do like this design for Ultimate Dan Couga, then you can look forward to that. So that's what I've got for you today as far as announcements over the weekend. I probably would have put this out yesterday, but I had to get the video out for the Gundam Seed Freedom releases because I was really hyped for that. And then all of this stuff started coming out in the afternoon after I had already done that video. So I'm going to try to get this one out today. Anyways, well, thank you guys for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.